Hey plant people, thank you so much for stopping by. Today is the day we are doing the plant unboxing that I talked about in my last plant chores video when I gave you a little hint as to what this is. This just showed up today. Today is Saturday. I don't think it's gonna be a very long video, so I should be able to get this edited pretty quickly and posted, but this is an exciting one. It is a bigger plant. And I purchased this off of Etsy from a seller that I have not previously purchased from before. And they seem to have pretty good reviews. The reason I purchased this from them is this is one that I feel like it's not like the rarest plant, but it's just kind of like uncommon to find. I actually did not know about this plant until I recently watched one of Shannon's videos at, I think her channel is Planted 386. Let me check just to make sure. Planted 386, yes. And if by chance you're watching this video, you already know this is Shannon because I commented on your video talking about this plant because I was so in love with it and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm just like so into this like variety of plants that I feel like it's very unappreciated or underappreciated rather. So I found a really good deal on a mature one on Etsy. And I had to get it. I just had to. It did look like in the photos like there was some already a little bit of damage on the leaves. And when you ship a plant that is this large, like if you can see the size of this box, like I am anticipating some leaf damage. Like that's just something I'm expecting. And hopefully it won't be anything that the plant will not bounce back from. So I'm excited. Let's do this. Let's open her up. All right, guys, I've got you flipped around so that you can see what I am doing down here and what is in the box. Is that enough? Can you see what's going on? I'm not the best with my camera angle, so I'm working on it. And this, I can't tell where I'm supposed to open this from. I feel like maybe I'm just gonna open it from the bottom. It feels like most of the weight is on this end, so I'm assuming that is where the pot end is. And in the photo of this plant, I think even in the description they had mentioned how it needed to be repot really badly because its roots were just like out of control. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and do that today. I know, you know, normally I had been waiting for like the plant to settle in some before I actually like go in and repot it and stress it out more. But recently I've just been like, is it better to let it get comfortable and relaxed and then stress it out again by repotting it? Or should I just go ahead and repot it like when it's already stressed out about being shipped? Like, should I do like a little bit of extra stress when it's already stressed or re-stress it out a second time? I don't know. But I have been actually just going ahead and like, if the plants really need it, repotting them like right when they come in the mail. And I've actually not had any negative side effects from that. And it's a little bit easier on me just to get like everything done and out of the way at once. So anywho, the packaging actually looks really good. I'm just gonna pull her out here carefully. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love the bubble wrap to protect the leaves. Oh my gosh, okay. So this is what we're working with. We've got the pot down here. It looks like there's a layer of like the felt fluff stuff. And then we've got some bubble wrap around the side. So I'm just gonna discard that box. And let me see. I need to take that bubble wrap off the top. Yeah, I'm actually very pleased with how well this is packaged. It actually looks okay. I do already see some yellowing leaves and it feels a little wet. It does feel a little wet, which is not always the best sign. Tape here. Oh, it is kind of coming off already, okay. Oh, actually, it doesn't look terrible. It is variegated. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, is this variegation or is this damage? Okay, let's see. Ooh. Little sneak peek there. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Cause I mean, I like obviously knew how big this plant was, but seeing it in real life is like, it is really wet. It's like there's, I don't know if it's from edema or, we're almost there. We're almost there. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is, any guesses? Oh my gosh. Look at this. This is an Anthurium water dragon variegated. And like I said, I saw this on Shannon's video and oh my gosh. To me, what really got me is this growth pattern. This is such a big plant. You know, I'm probably gonna insert some like B-roll of this plant so that y'all can really see it because it is massive. Okay, so as you can see, this is a very large plant. It does have some broken leaves. So this one's broken and it's got another broken one over here. And then just the tip of this one is broken. And this one actually looks really good. It's not super variegated on a lot of its leaves. It looks like it does have a lot of green. But this leaf, for example, like the variegation on that one looks really good. This is more of an Aurea. I've seen this variegated more like a white elbow type variegation. And this is more of like that yellowy Aurea variegation. Honestly, I don't really have a preference with the two. I feel like I like both of them, but I couldn't find, as I mentioned, it's like kind of difficult to find somewhere that had this plant. So I wasn't like super picky about the variegation type because I like both of them. But oh my gosh, y'all, like this growth pattern, how beautiful is that? I love how it has these like kind of long necks. Like it does look like a water dragon or like some kind of like sea creature coming out of the water to me. Like how it has these really long petioles before it expands into that kind of like a little bit serpentine type shape at the top. Like it is a bit serpentine to me. And it has these funny like joints on here, which is, I'm assuming this is like how it moves to like change direction if it needs more or less sunlight. But oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And then look, this one right here, the variegation on that leaf, gorge. I'm so happy with this. Like this is way better than what I anticipated it being. And like how big it is. Oh my gosh. I forgot to mention this was $80. $80 for this mature variegated like uncommon Anthurium. And I just think that's a pretty good deal. And then this one is variegated also. I don't know if you can really see as well on that one because it is a little bit of a more minimal type variegation. So let me let me unwrap this fluff from the bottom of the pot here. And I'm going to show y'all these roots that looked crazy on their posting on Etsy. And I'm thinking that I may be able to chop the chonk maybe and get at least one more plant from this. This is one that we're going to go ahead and repot really quickly just because when you see these roots, you'll know why. But I do think that I may be able to do a cut or two on that chonk and maybe we can start a new plant from that. Sorry, look, the leaves are everywhere. It's out of control. Look at these roots. Can you see in there? These nutty roots. I am going to pull it out of here. Like I already am under the impression that I'm going to make a mess. Like I brought my little potting materials in here, but it does have some root rot. Ooh, no. It has a lot of root rot. So that is unfortunate. I'm definitely gonna be cutting that off. So, and that's just from being left in this pot and wet for way too long. But you can see all of these like really healthy, thick roots at the top. but these bottom roots are in really, really bad condition. Like those are just total mush. So what we're gonna do is, I've got my potting stuff over here, like I said. We are going to figure out this root ball and assess this chunk once I get in there. Okay, so first order of business is I've got to figure out what is going on with these roots. This is probably the worst case of root rot I've seen in a really long time, and that is also including my own case of root rot, in which, oh my gosh, yeah, this is bad, in which I used that bad soil and things just did not go well. I'm hoping that it's going to be more towards the base of this, and that these top roots through here are okay. It's almost as though this has been like sitting in water for a really long time. And this mix, ooh, oh, this is so gross. Oh my gosh, this is so gross. I've got to, hold on. See, if I had waited to repot this plant would not have made it. Oh gosh, these roots. They look so good from the top, but there's literally like, there's nothing even in the middle here. All right, so this is what I have so far. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go rinse these off and try to get the rest of the soil off and pull off any of those roots that are still kind of like rotten in there. All right, y'all, so I am back. What I did is I just took it to the sink and washed off as much of that old soil as I could and the dead roots. And you can see like, it's still got a lot of pretty good roots left on it. I'm not 100% concerned that it won't bounce back. I am gonna put some of my great white, the premium mycorrhizae, like fungi, on the roots. I've just gotta go get it out of my garage, which kind of helps the root health and the uptake of nutrients. And I think just like as a last measure, I'm just gonna take my clippers and go in and cut off any of the ends that still look kind of gross. I did rinse it off with a little bit of like a hydrogen peroxide solution. So I'm gonna go in now and just kind of trim off any of that extra like gunk that's still stuck on there. So I feel like I got off as much as I can of these roots, and this was like the worst case of root rot I've seen, I think, ever in my entire plant career. It was so terrible. Like, I feel like they took the name water dragon literally and like had it sitting in water somewhere, is what I'm under the impression, because the roots were just like total, like I've never seen root rot look like that before. So we'll see. I do feel like there's, as you can see, I mean, plenty of healthy roots that are still on here, but I don't know how it's prolonged exposure to that really dense soil and being too moist for too long will overall like impact the plant's health. I will say these like bird's nest type anthuriums typically are more resilient than a lot of the velvet leafed anthuriums, as I've mentioned before. So I do still feel like there's a good chance that this one will make it. And I was thinking about, like I mentioned, cutting the chonk, because I feel like the chonk's definitely big enough to separate into multiple plants. But one problem is getting in there. Like you can see how densely compacted these roots are, like around the stem area. And I just don't want to risk losing any more of these healthy roots, because I had to remove so many roots because of the root rot. So I don't think I'm actually going to be dividing this guy. I think I'm just going to pot him back up in a lighter, more airy, like aeroid mixture for him, and that he will much prefer over that very dense soil mix. And I just feel like this is kind of like a matter of, like, maybe the seller didn't have much experience with anthurium and they just aren't aware of like the type of potting medium that they should be put up in. Or, you know, maybe they got the plant from somewhere else and they've had it in that pot for a long time and they just didn't think about repotting it. But it seems to be doing okay based on the foliage. So we're just going to pot her up and hope for the best. And I've got my normal mix, which you can't probably see in there, which is just orchid bark, perlite, cocoa core, cocoa chunks. And I've been using a little bit of the Miracle Grow Tropicals soil, not a lot, just a little bit, because I did still have some of that left. So I did just dump that in there. So this is the biggest pot that I have. I do think this will need like one of the, like the levels that you can add in here where it has like another layer of pot from where these roots are going in. But I mean, for now, this is just going to have to do. I think it'll be fine just because it's going through some like root trauma right now. And in the future, I will look at maybe either dividing it then or getting her a bigger pot. I obviously want to see how she does first and make sure that she makes it. I don't really know how to feel about this order because the packaging was really good, but the root rot was so bad. And I mean, the plant's very large. And I mean, for the price point, you know, I didn't spend hundreds of dollars on this. I literally spent $80, which is pretty fair when it comes to like anthuriums are normally a little bit more expensive, especially one that's like very large and mature like this one is. So I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't really know how I feel about it. I do think I'm going to pull off this little leaf down there because it's just so far down in that root ball. Yeah, I think this will be okay. And so I am going to sprinkle on some of my Great White Macorzier, which is supposed to help with root health, which I should have opened this first, which we definitely need in this situation. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on. Okay, I think that's good. She will still be a little compacted in here, but it's not nearly as bad as she was in her previous pot. So I do feel like that's definitely an improvement. And hopefully with this super chunky soil, she is going to start doing a little better. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they like had gotten this plant from somewhere else and they just didn't like think about repotting it or what, but it's very bizarre to me that nobody thought to repot it when its roots were clearly going everywhere and it was like sitting in water. It had to have been sitting in water. Like there's no way that those roots are that bad just from being flushed through. There's no way. So I feel like that is probably the best that I can do for her right now. She's a little bit crooked in this pot, but like it is so hard to get her down in here. She's so big. I don't know. I honestly feel like she might tip over. Like I think I'm gonna actually add like, ooh, hello. I'm actually gonna add like a this is ridiculous. And you know, I said that I didn't have room for any more big plants, and we both knew that was a lie. We both knew that, because here we are. But I think I'm gonna get a bamboo stake and stake her to it down in there, because she's kind of like wobbly because of this very long petiole length. But I just think those leaves are so beautiful, and like the veining and the really subtle variegation. I'm feeling pretty confident. Like the spot that I'm going to put her in has pretty good lighting. So hopefully that will brighten up the variegation a little bit. And I did accidentally break off one more leaf while I was repotting her, just because there's leaves everywhere. I couldn't help it. And I don't know. I think I'm probably going to go through and kind of like trim these leaves that are like cracked in half, because it's not really doing much of anything. And I think I am going to go ahead and water her through, just because this mix is really chunky, and I feel like nothing's going to be as soggy and wet as what she came in. And I had originally, like in the beginning of this video, I was talking about the seller that I purchased it from, and I don't think I'm going to put the name of the seller on this video, because I don't feel like I'm very confident with whether or not I'm satisfied with this order, because I love the plant. I think the plant is a great value for the price. And I think that it's beautiful, and I could not be more in love with the plant itself. And the packaging was really good too, but the root rot, oh my gosh, literally the worst, most disgusting case of root rot that I have ever seen in my life. And I'm a little bit traumatized right now. Like I feel like I need to go, actually I am, I'm going to go take a shower after this. After I water this plant through and get her in her new home. And I am going to, I use the systemic granules in there for my pesticide, but I am going to go ahead and wipe all of her leaves down and probably spray her down with Captain Jack's just to be safe. And I think that will be a good start for her, for getting her in a good place to start growing really well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out this video and unboxing her with me, the newest addition to my plant family. Again, this is the Anthurium Water Dragon, variegated. Thank you again, Shannon, for talking about this in that previous video, because I would not have known about this plant if it were not for you. And I love it so, so much. And I will roll some B-roll footage after this, just so y'all can see from a different angle, where you can clearly see a little bit more of the plant. So you can see her vibe, because she is so incredibly beautiful. But if you like this video, please like, please subscribe. It is so helpful for my channel, and it means so much to me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.